So hey guys, today we're going to talk about hand traps and specifically how awful they feel to play in general recently. So we'll go over all the pain points. So we have Kieran. Oh, my opponent opened Kieran? Well, don't you feel like a fool for trying to target something? Well, that's too bad, I guess. So because of this, you have no choice. Simply imperm the Yubel star and hope they do not have original sinful or an extender. Because you can't imperm like Promethean Princess. There's like nothing you can imperm really. So that's cool. I guess you would save it for the next turn and imperm Apollosa as well. But there is no hope of you for there's no hope for you to try to stop like I don't know searching Fire King Island because your opponent could have simply already opened Fire King Island as well. Double pain, triple pain, lots of pain. So imperm feeling pretty awful here. And then we have Yubel. Because the Lotus tributes itself, you have to imperm before the Lotus actually sends itself. So that also applies to technically Phantom, but that's like a different thing entirely. But in general, we got imperm this before it sends that. And if we do not, our opponent will have Spirit of the Yubel. If we imperm here, we can make Phantom of the Yubel. So that's great, I guess. So now our opponent at least has a monster negate, kind of. And then after this, uh, there's also the fact that if you do imperm the D-Lotus, it still has another chance to resolve. If our opponent specifically has a copy of Opening of the Spirit Gates just in their hand. So yeah, that's fairly frustrating. Not a whole lot we can do about this. So yeah. And if we actually limit it, it just hurts the Sacred Beast players. Just painful, miserable all around. There's like no super good hits to do here, right? So that's like pain point number 2 of many. And then of course we have Voiceless Voice. So there's just Saravis, but like the actual Saravis, I guess. That does it show up in any of these? No? Okay. What shows up for relate cards? Oh, these guys. Well, whatever. So with Voiceless Voice, activate Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. Imperming, nothing to really imperm here. The fact to search, still nothing to really imperm here. And in general, the more we go through all this, the more it is a game of guessing, does my opponent have the extender? If my opponent has the extender, then I would do my hand trap here. But if I take too long and my opponent actually has this other extender, then my opponent will extend too far and I probably cannot play the game. So you're just not really able to tell. You do not really have the info, and it's just a guessing game where you just randomly throw out your hand traps where they will either be completely ineffective, do nothing, or just, be like completely ignored because they don't do anything because your opponent already has everything. So that's basically how it is, right? But I mean, just in general, low, 1 card combo. D-Lotus, 1 card combo. Snake Eye Ash, Bonfire, Diabellstar, all 1 card combos. And then their extenders onto what you already have. And then after that point, there are also, on top of this, just a completely different like starter. So, for example, if we stop the Lotus, this doesn't stop our opponent from doing assuming we wait to Ash the D-Lotus, right? Normal summoning Beckoning Beast adds opening of the Spirit Gates. Normal summon D-Lotus effect to tribute. We Ash that. Our opponent could still have a Spirit of Yubel in hand, opening discard Spirit of Yubel, and that's still combo. So that's miserable, right? And then there's like Voiceless Voice, where if we normal summon low, we try imprint this, our opponent can just have Saravis. They could have another low in hand, or they could have just tributed low first, and then tried to use low effect to search, and Skull Guardian Protector of the Voiceless Voice to search at like essentially more or less the same time. So let's assume we have just Ash Blossom Geospring. Worst case scenario. Our opponent has like prayers, Skull Guardian, and low. This is pretty bad. But okay, so we do. Prayers used to summon the Skull Guardian. Summon low. So here, now you have nothing to Ash that's worthwhile. And when low special summons itself, Omni negate line. So that's pretty bad. And then you pre-prep for 2 of these, so it's actually only arguably a 2-card combo. So it gets worse and worse, essentially, the more you look at this, but there's this preventing you from impriming on the next turn, so you probably have to drop the imprim first turn, but Saravis. And then also, they can randomly be playing, well, they not really playing randomly, but the Trias Hierarchia, that can just tribute Diviner. Then the Diviner is not targetable. And that can send Herald of Arclight, adding like Protector. And then summoning the low. And then technically here you could make I don't know, it doesn't really matter what you make, but if we really want to, we could make, I don't know, like a Chaos Angel or something. Maybe an IP. But yeah. Not exactly what I would call fun to play against, but yeah, just in general, there's a billion ways Imperm could randomly be dodged here. And if you have Ash Blossom, your opponent might just have another extender, starter, or whatever, and your Ash Blossom never had a point where you could have interacted with that, or there was an interaction point, but it's like just impossible to tell. You just have to like completely gamble. So in general, playing hand traps right now is feeling worse and worse. That's how I'm feeling. And also worth mentioning is Nibiru is bad in general against like all 3 of these. So number 1, we'll start with Yubel. They can make Phantom early because they would want to Phantom for Ash anyways. And then they can just make a second Phantom after making you know, the Phantom. If Phantom destroys Yubel, that allows you to special summon Yubel by destroying Spirit of Yubel, which has no hard ones per turn. So then you can just shuffle back the Spirit and Yubel you just summoned to make a second Phantom. So even if you were to nib, it doesn't even trade super well. It goes like even, I guess. Nothing really changes. So that's how that goes. And also your opponent can make Apollosa anyways. So not feeling great here. And then we have Fire King. Fire King Snake Eye. Or Fire King. This is actually possible to nib. So that's cool, I guess. But also Voiceless Voice doesn't do that much summoning before they like get into low and Skull Guardian, so yeah. Can't really stop this. So that's unfortunate, ain't it? So a bit of a pain point here, I guess. Not much you can do about this. And also their whole board is probably not targetable, and they also have like pop your whole board plus Omni Negate. And then hand traps and follow up. So pretty annoying just in general. And then at the same time, they release this, and I have literally no idea what this deck is supposed to do. So we now have Ragnarika. How is this supposed to play against this again? We have Hunting Dance to do some popping, I guess. And then we can't use the second effect on the same turn because, you know, obviously that would be too broken, surely. I guess you could maybe make a Bangalancer or something. and this isn't up to the link rating, it's up to the link monsters you control. And that you actually control, not like ones in your graveyard, so I have no idea what you're supposed to do with that realistically, but okay, I guess. So, can't really figure this out. But you know what? At least this is somewhat cheap to make. I guess it's just 4 URs. Cool. New archetype, I guess. And then these are also kind of new. Yeah, so they're incredibly gapped. So, pretty awkward, I guess. Like, there are points that are kind of good for hand traps, except if your opponent has the other thing. Or, of course, if your opponent has Cross Out or Called By, which are also cards in this game, which, if you opened Ash Blossom to a Spring, there is a 50% chance that your opponent would have, like, a Cross Out or Called By. Well, something like that. Not exactly. It's actually 30%, but that's what it feels like sometimes. With Maxi, actually, with Called By and Ash Blossom, that's actually 50%. So, or more or less. So, that's a little different, but yeah, just in general. Before before we fully consider this, we have to consider that our opponent also has like generics that stop our hand traps, and then they have their extenders and extra starters. So, losing the coin flip, getting worse and worse all the time, and I don't see it getting better at all. Like as of currently, we have like nothing going for going second, and it gets worse the better going first is. And of course, hand traps are falling off, so that's another step into going second being even worse. Considering that this is best of one format, it feels like losing the coin flip is just losing the game for the most part now. So yeah, that's great. Except it's really not. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.